मैं तो दिल्ली में रहता हूँ और रेडियो फीजी बहुत रेडियो फीजी रोज सुनता हूँ.
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन.
In the news tonight, China calls for common sense to prevail. Don't be the enemy of the state, says Health Minister. And women violence stats reveals main perpetrators.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Spate.
The Chinese embassy says it hopes that good sense will prevail when it comes to countries like Fiji, restricting Chinese nationals from entering our country. This comes after the Fijian government made the decision last Sunday to impose the restrictions in light of the Wuhan coronavirus outbreak. All foreign nationals who have been in China within 14 days of their intended travel to Fiji are now not allowed into Fiji. Apanisa Wangarandovu with the story.
The Chinese embassy says it is working extremely hard to protect its people and also those from around the world, including Fiji. We hope that the Fijian government should minimize the negative impact on the movement of people as much as possible. The WHO continues to have confidence in China's capacity to control the outbreak. There is no reason for measures that necessarily interfere with international travel and trade. Acting Permanent Secretary of Foreign Affairs Yogesh Karan says they have done their homework well in liaison with the WHO and Fiji's Health Ministry before a decision on the restriction was made.
It's not different from what other countries have done. We have done our homework very well. We have noted that we've done our research in terms of what other countries have done about this or the policy they have made. And accordingly, we have made our policy.
Karan says most areas of trade should not be affected.
I don't think the trade will be affected because the goods will still be exported and imported. I mean, except perhaps there could be restrictions on meat and other things. But otherwise, I think the advice that we have sought from WHO, it's a well-calculated decision that Fiji has taken.
Meanwhile, 2 Fijian nationals are on board an Air New Zealand flight that left Wuhan this morning, which also carried a significant number of citizens from other Pacific countries. Apanisa Wangarandobu, FBC News.
People spreading rumours of coronavirus have been labelled enemies of the state by the health minister. This comes as there were rumours that the Lautoka hospital had a confirmed case of the deadly virus after medical staff were seen wearing personal protective gear last Friday. Koroi Tandalala reports that it was later determined that the patient did not have symptoms or relevant travel history.
The health minister making no bones about what he thinks of those who are using the coronavirus situation to spread fear and anxiety.
Anyone who misinforms the public with a view to creating anxiety is an enemy of Fiji, an enemy of the state. Really, that's what it is, because they don't have a heart in this country. Anyone who has a heart for the nation will say things that will encourage the nation, will say things that will push the nation forward.
The rapid activation of the contingency plan in Lautoka was misinterpreted by those present at the hospital at that time. The health minister is calling on Fijians not to believe everything they read on social media, which has in recent time become the bearer of false news.
My message to them is, please, your misinformation creates a lot of anxiety, creates a lot of angst, but also it exposes the person who he is, and he's a liar or she's a liar.
Fiji police force is also warning the public to refrain from adding fuel to fire when it comes to misinformation in the country.
Any community or any person feels threatened by anything that is being said directly to them or via social media, we would encourage them to call into their nearest police station and lodge a report.
The World Health Organization Director General has called on other countries not to impose travel and trade restrictions, as this constitutes fear and stigma within the international community. Koroi Tandulala, FBC News.
Meanwhile, in China's Hubei province, 65 people died of the virus yesterday, raising the Hubei death toll since the beginning of the coronavirus outbreak to 479 people. A recent government research has found that violence against women is highly prevalent in the Itaukei community. This was revealed during a joint submission to the Public Accounts Standing Committee by the Ministry of Women and the Police Force. Kelly Vadala reports.
The Ministry of Women has joined forces with the Itoke Affairs Board to address the growing issue of violence against women, which is mostly reported from rural areas.
Working with the board in trying to promote, again, evidence-based on the fact that looking at the prevalence of violence against women in Fiji, and that statistics actually show that the Itoke community are the highest perpetrators as far as violence against women is concerned.
The Fiji Police Force says there are laws in place to deal with the growing culture of violence against women and children.
The no-drop policy and a zero-tolerance approach exists within the workings of the Fiji Police Force on any report lodged in line with the gender-based violence, domestic violence, or domestic violence restraining order violations. And offences against children, all these are dealt with in the front line.
Lutunaunga also says the force will not spare any of its personnel who disregard the seriousness of any violence reports.
In the likes of maybe cases being unregistered or uninvestigated, reconciliation being prompted by officers, delays in the issue of DVRO and complaints in breach of no-drop policy, and instructions in respect to these and other cases, these breaches are urgently dealt with through our Internal Affairs Division.
The committee was also briefed on the progress of discussions regarding the National Action Plan, which is being developed to teach males on how to treat women. Kelly Vadala, FBC News.
The benefits of economic growth must be shared among all Fijians, no matter where they live or their background. Prime Minister Vurenge Bainimarama says one of the driving forces of his government has been to reach communities who rarely get to share national progress. Edwin Nunn reports.
Fiji's growth over the last decade is the result of careful planning by the government and trusting everyday citizens to deliver.
The economic growth that has allowed us to spread the yields of our harvest far and wide across Fiji have not come by luck or by chance. The path to success has been carefully charted throughout my service to the Fijian people as Prime Minister.
Bainimarama has encouraged Fijians to dream big and to work hard to make them a reality. Everyone will get the same chance at success.
You need talented, dedicated people in the right positions. I challenge all of us to look at our fellow Fijians not through the lens of their ethnicity or upbringing, but through a lens of their skill, their passion and their potential.
He says the old ways of doing things have been thrown out, opening up new opportunities for young Fijians.
It's not about who you know. It's not about what province you come from. It's not about your ethnicity or who your parents may be. There is no position beyond your grasp. There is no path you cannot follow. In fact, you're each fully capable of blazing new paths on your own.
The government wants ambitious and highly skilled Fijians to fill gaps in the civil service. Edwin Nund, FBC News.
Up ahead, Minister clarifies apartments on residential lots, and trial date set for alleged murder. Details after the break.
Radio Fiji 1 nandomo iviti.
Getting tested for prostate cancer does not make you any less of a man, says the Fiji Cancer Society. With 2 cases already registered so far this year, Chief Executive Belinda Chan says for many men the topic remains a taboo in conversations. She says this should not be the case, as men need to be open and take their health seriously, not only as a commitment to themselves, but for their loved ones.
They need to start talking about what they're going through. Lower back pains, whatever symptoms they have, share it. We find that for those with that come in for prostate testing, you know, they're worried that it's more than a blood test.
Some residents are raising concerns with the local government ministry in regard to apartments being built on residential lots. The local government minister has confirmed receiving the complaints, but says one has to understand there is scarcity of land in urban areas. Kritika Kumar reports.
Minister Premila Kumar has stressed that due to urbanization, the demand for housing has increased. However, they are giving approvals for apartments depending on the type of land and zoning.
Residential A, it's simply your single house with 7 quarters. Then residential B, you can have few units, and then it goes on to residential C. So based on the land category or zoning, that's how the approval is given.
Kumar adds the demand for affordable housing is increasing due to urbanization.
Public need to understand that, with urbanization, when people are moving into the cities and towns, they grow. And it cannot be the same as what it was 30 or 40 years ago. The whole landscape changes, and we need to be geared to accept that change.
Meanwhile, a registered real estate agent says there needs to be more discussion at a national level to address the shortage of affordable housing.
Inventory is lack of affordable housing in the market, How do we address this? We need to build more units in order to overcome the shortage, which is also a contributing factor to the pricing. You see, it's about demand and supply.
The local government ministry has stressed that the government will continue providing affordable homes for low and middle income families. Kritika Kumar, FBC News.
The Fijian Elections Office will conduct an investigation to find out why there was a low turnout of young voters in the last election. The FEO is planning to run awareness campaigns in schools. Supervisor of Elections Mohammed Saneem says the FEO is currently putting together strategies before a decision to carry out nationwide registration campaign of students is made.
School registrations allow us to capture students who just newly become eligible. We have seen the impact of school registration resulting in high levels of registration in the last election cycle. We have also noted, and we are yet to confirm, a very low turnout in the 18 to 20-year-olds in the last election.
Prime Minister Vorengen Bainimarama believes small island states can demand more action on climate change if they implement strategies to reduce carbon emissions. While opening a regional hub for nationally determined contributions in Suva last night, Bainimarama highlighted that even small carbon emitters need to do their part. The hub will monitor the Pacific's efforts towards NDCs or targets set by government on mitigating climate change.
Whether we're speaking from the floor of the United Nations or sitting across from our higher emitting counterparts, we can certainly wield our moral authority to great effect. But there is far more power in saying, if we can do it, so can you. If we can summon the courage and creativity to grow sustainable economies, surely you can do the same.
The trial of a 21-year-old man charged with alleged murder will begin on the 17th of this month. Saula Temo is charged with 1 count of murder. It is alleged Temo murdered a tertiary student at the Suva foreshore in May 2018. Temo allegedly hit 23-year-old Aquila Salavuki with a piece of timber, causing his death. The next day, 2 men found the deceased lying in a pool of blood at the Suva foreshore, and Temo was arrested after weeks of investigation. The 2-week trial will start from February 17th. And turning overseas, US President Donald Trump is telling the American people that the state of our union is stronger than ever before in his State of the Union address. And it's business time now with Kelly.
Thanks, Jackie. Coming up after the break. Solar freezer to boost income generation. And in growing Fiji, copper industry back to profitability. Stay with us.
My name is Neha and I'm from Karavi, and Mirchi FM, it's hot.
Mirchi FM, it's hot.
Splitting business, more island communities that don't have electricity are receiving solar freezers from the government to help generate income, improve food conservation methods and support livelihoods. Another maritime community in Vanua Level is the latest recipient of the solar freezer from the Ministry of Fisheries. Eleanor Trangayu reports.
At Yandua, a tiny remote island towards the west end of Vanua Levu in the Mbua province, villagers depend on fishing for their livelihoods. But keeping their fish fresh without refrigeration is a huge challenge.
We normally buy ice to store our fish. We either buy ice from Namboal or Lambasa. When we have strong winds and we have ice, it normally goes to waste as we cannot go out to sea.
Yesterday, a new solar-powered freezer was installed on the island, which will enable the fishermen to store and chill their catch before it hits the market. This will mean the fishermen will no longer need to purchase ice.
It takes about an hour to get to Nambowalu to buy ice, and it costs us approximately $250. But now we will no longer have to get ice as we have a freezer in the village. We are deeply grateful to the government.
The freezer was initially requested by the fishermen in 2017 to solve their fish storage woes. Rokutuimbua Ratuwaisake Tuisese handed over the freezer yesterday on behalf of the Minister for Fisheries, Semi Kurelam Sao.
I believe that this government assistance is a timely one that will improve the quality of your fish and other marine products before it reaches the required markets, and therefore improve the income generated and daily livelihoods of our island community.
Yandua Island, with a population of approximately 270, is one of 10 communities in the maritime region that have so far received solar freezers from the Ministry of Fisheries. Eleanor Turangaibu, FBC News.
We now join Gary from HFC Bank with the latest from the stock market.
US dollar gained against the yen today amid unwinding of safe haven positions as China's responses to the coronavirus outbreak supported investor confidence, even as deaths and new cases climbed. In addition, US factory orders increased 1.8% in December, the largest gain since August 2018, well above the 1.2% forecast. The huge rise was due mainly to high demand in defense-related aircraft and miscellaneous transportation production. Closer to home, Reserve Bank of Australia Governor Philip Lowe once again said the Australian economy is passing through a gentle turning point. He noted that if the unemployment rate increases, it will reinforce the case for an interest rate cut. He also stated that GDP for this year will likely be unaffected by the wildfires. Meanwhile, New Zealand employment data for last year's fourth quarter showed that fewer people are looking for work as the unemployment rate declined to 4% from 4.2%. And that's all from HFC Bank for now.
Vinaka Gary here. Today's exchange rates as set this morning. The Fiji dollar rose against the US greenback, the PNG kina, the euro and the Japanese yen, but the Sangamoli slipped slightly against the other currencies we cover. Looking at the commodities market, crude oil continued to drop at $50 per barrel. Gold dropped more than $20 to $1,554, and silver closed down at $17.56 per ounce. In growing Fiji, the copra industry is starting to pick up its pace this year following the devastation caused by Tropical Cyclone Winston in 2016. Chair Raj Sharma says they began making a profit in December last year following 3 years of losses. Sanya Nimbola reports.
As of December last year, copra millers made a profit of $50,000.
Our prime price in 2018 or 17 has been 1,700 US dollar metric ton, which reduced to 666. So it has reduced by 2/3 last year. And now it is gradually going up to 900 or so. We were able to sustain ourselves.
Sharma says they're also working on diversifying their byproducts.
We are currently making crude oil, and crude oil needs to be bleached and then it becomes edible. Now from March and April we are looking at to get a naturally processed coconut oil that we do it at home.
Farmer Inosi Nawaikalo says with the industry returning to profitability, he is urging young farmers to make use of the opportunity.
It's now back on track and it's time for young farmers to plant coconuts. 4 to 5 years, and you can be a major supplier of coconut to the copra industry.
The government has allocated $700,000 for loans to help farmers plant more coconuts. Sainiani Mboila, FBC News. That's it from Business Tonight. Jamie joins you now with the latest from sports.
Thanks, Kelly, and good evening. Up ahead in sports, pools drawn for LA Sevens and rematch for Ndavavana and Ravundi. This and more after the break.
Bula FM number 2 NSR.
Bula FM number 2 NSR.
The Fiji Airways men's 7 side will play France, Argentina, and invitational side Korea at the Los Angeles Sevens next month. South Africa heads Pool B with Ireland, Canada, and Kenya, while host USA leads Pool C, which includes Australia, Scotland, and Samoa. England, New Zealand, Wales, and Spain make up Pool D. The top 2 teams from each pool will make the top 8, meaning there will be quarterfinals at the Los Angeles tournament, unlike the Hamilton and Sydney legs of the World Series, where only the pool winner progressed directly to the semi-final. The most improved team on the Women's World 7 Series, the Fijiana, will not rest until they achieve their goal. Head coach Sayasi Fuli says the back-to-back tournaments on the last leg were a good test for the team, and even with some injured players, the depth of the squad proved itself with their best finish this season.
It's new for the girls to play back-to-back tournament. Unfortunately, we have to lose players through injuries. They have to come back to Fiji. But it's good that the rest of the girls maintain and hold their fort in Sydney and start to play positive rugby.
According to an English newspaper report, talks have started regarding the Flying Fijians joining the Six Nations Championship. The Daily Express reported that Fiji is pushing for inclusion in an expanded Six Nations Championship, but if it falls through, then Fiji may debut in 2022 or 2023. According to the report, Fiji has approached the Six Nations committee members with a plan to play their home matches in France if admitted. Fiji was one of the big losers when World Rugby's Nations League project fell apart last year. The French representative to the Six Nations Committee says any plan to expand the international game will be met with fierce opposition at the club level, but he believes it could be made to work. Getting the 2020 Super Rugby season started with a win was great, but remaining consistent throughout the season is the real challenge, according to the Brumbies. They take on the Rebels this week, a team that's been a thorn in their side in recent time. Aquila Dama reports. Fiji Super Welterweight boxing champion Chese Ravundi is determined to get back in shape for his first fight of the year. Ravundi will meet Ratu Rakuru Ndavavana in a rematch in the Best Boxing Promotions event next month and believes he will be fully prepared to defend his title once again. Aquila Dama caught up with the 2 boxers today and filed this report.
They can joke and laugh together for now, but in a month's time, they'll have to face each other in the ring for the second time in 4 months.
This will be a big comeback for me. I was not in good term last year, but then thanks to Best Boxing Promotion, they gave me another chance this year. For first fight this year, really looking forward for it.
Ndavavana was knocked out in the 7th round by Jesse Ravundi when they met in October last year.
Oh, it's gonna be a very good fight and tough fight because we already fight last year and I know he got something to prove this year and he's gonna come strong. Now I've been training, I have to train very well for this one because this is gonna be a big year this year.
The challenger will need to put on a few kilos for this fight.
I have to come up another 3 kg up to 69 kg. It's not hard, it's easy. Just have to do a lot of running and more of my body builder.
There will be no love lost when Ndavavana takes on Ravundi on the 14th of next month at the FMF Gymnasium in Suva. Aquila Dama, FBC Sports.
And our play of the day, Alan Saint-Maximin's extra time goal sent Newcastle United to the FA Cup 5th round for the first time in 14 years. With scores locked 2-2 against Oxford United, the unpredictable Saint-Maximin made the difference in the 116th minute. That's it from sports tonight. Apenisa joins you with weather later on. And in new media, World Health Organization, Google, and social media sites join forces against virus misinformation. Details coming up.
Mulai here, Tawa, we love Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
In new media tonight, the United Nations Health Agency has teamed up with Google and other social media outlets to help fight an infodemic about a viral outbreak in China. There's a lot of difficulties in getting facts straight about the coronavirus outbreak that has spawned fear and concern across the globe. And Apenisa joins us now with the latest from weather.
On weather tonight was nice. The sun was nice and bright with little to no rain in sight. Now let's see what the other centers had for today. The west, it remained clear with a high humidity level. The night will be quite warm as well. Eastwards from Peck Harbour to Suva, blue skies were quite visible. The evening will see a few showers. And up north, very warm with no rain as well. At sea, southeast winds 15 to 20 knots. Moderate seas. For the tides, low tide at 9:51 p.m. with high tide at 4 a.m. Sunrise at 5:54. For tomorrow, today's weather will repeat itself. Only good thing is that we are closer to the weekend. Tomorrow's Thames, Lautoka and Lambasa will have high of 32 degrees. Looking further onto Friday, our favorite day, more sunshine for us. It's back to you, Jackie.
Thanks so much for that, Apenisa. In Fiji on Pulse tonight, we asked what should be done to those caught making racial comments against Asians in light of the coronavirus outbreak.
Forget about others. You have to look after yourself only in the family. If you criticize the other people, it's no good. That's not good.
We can't blame any ethnicity or group of people because it's already here, whether you like it or no. So let's not point fingers.
What I know is that it's airborne, so we should just work together in fighting it and try and avoid racism.
We should not discriminate them because we've been living with them for quite a long time.
In the world of the weird and the wonderful, if you're not afraid of heights, you might enjoy dining at this South African restaurant, which takes its customers 160 feet off the ground for meals. Recapping the main stories for tonight, China calls for common sense to prevail. Don't be the enemy of the state, says Health Minister. And women violence stats reveals main perpetrators. Now for these stories and others, tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. Our poll question we're asking: can the current Fiji Sevens team win gold at the Tokyo Olympics? Visit our FBC website to answer. And our shot of the day, a gloomy sunset with a sight of moon in Siberia, Lambasa, sent in by Manoj Sagar. And you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj, via Facebook page FBC News, our Twitter page at FBC_news, or hashtag FBC News. That was the FBC News for tonight. From the team and I, stay safe. Good night.
Mulai here, Tawa, we love Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Today's hit music on Today FM.